talk about what's happening in Minneapolis. Speaking of Ilhan Omar, but the greater, like, zoom out. Let's look at the 500-foot view of what's happening in Minneapolis. It's very clear that President Trump is taking what is happening there very seriously, especially with regard to the shooting of Alex Pretty by one of the Border Patrol officers. So he's pulling back the people who bungled the response. You've got Border Patrol Commander at Large Greg Bavino, who I'm less concerned with. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem has to go. She was already not qualified for the job. And so you have Kristi Noem, who's going out and giving these press conferences and saying things like, you should never bring a gun to a peaceful protest. That is absolutely wrong and very dangerous language to be saying to the American people. Now, with your Second Amendment right comes a responsibility, but her response has been disastrous, and President Trump has seemed to understand that because he sent in Tom Homan to go clean up the mess and work with the city. So clearly he's like, all right, y'all are being pulled back. I'm sending in Tom Homan. I can trust that Tom will do the job. And then the agents who were involved in the shooting were put on leave. So you've got CBP Border Patrol agents placed on administrative leave after deadly confrontation with Alex Pretty. So President Trump, I think is doing what any reasonable president would do. He's assessing the situation. He's pulling back the people who seemed to make some major mistakes in a time where they shouldn't have. And he also is continuing to explain that he's happy to work with Tim Walz. Now, the thing with that is I'd like to know more of what that means, because you can't reason with the left. You can't ever win with them, because even though they seemingly got this win, you had President Trump to come out and say, I'm talking to Tim Walz. I want to work with him. What does that mean? Because Tim Walz is over there saying we have to protect our Somalian neighbors, go take to the streets. And you see that reflected in the leftist response to President Trump. I mean, like, kind of giving them what they want almost. They kind of got a W here, and they're still fighting, carrying on, and demanding more, because they're actually swarming Minnesota's Capitol and chanting outside Tim Walz's office. Justice now, justice now. Like, I don't understand what it is that they want. Tim Walz has been very clear that he is not going to cooperate with President Trump. And even if he does, it's like, he's trying to make your community safer. What is going to be good enough for you guys? What is actually going to be good enough? I don't think there is anything. Nothing is going to be good enough until they see the total elimination of ICE and of Republicans, basically. Now, don't take my word. Take the word of a Minneapolis council member.
We want the 2,000 plus agents that are still here today occupying our communities and putting them at harm's risk for being abducted or even shot and killed. We want them out. We don't want SWATCs. So until that demand is fulfilled, there is simply not a satisfying moment in this change.
We don't want SWATCs. Oh, it's just so funny to just throw around the term Nazi. It's just so funny. I mean, what could possibly go wrong if you spend the better part of a decade calling people who are pro-America Nazis and literally Hitler? It's not like anyone of note recently got assassinated. It's not like that rhetoric contributed at all. They never stop. They never stop. Now, there is one thing that I will admit that Ilhan Omar has right, and it was when she said this.
I feel that it is important for people, whether they are in elected office or not, to allow these people to intimidate us, to make us not fight for our constituents and for the country we love.
Probably the one right thing that she ever said. We shouldn't let these people intimidate us to make us not fight for the country that we love. Because these people are ghouls and you can't negotiate with them. I was just saying this the other day with the toddler analogy. You can't give in to a toddler throwing a temper tantrum, because all that teaches them, literally every parent would know this. And they know deep down if they handled it the right way or if they handled it the wrong way. Because if they handled it the wrong way, they've got a really, probably a spoiled brat on their hands. And if they handled it the right way, they don't. You can't negotiate. You can't give in to a screaming toddler who's not getting their way. Because the moment you do that, you show them that behaving in that manner gets them what they want. Now, I want to give you Tim Walz as an example, okay? Right after the Ilhan Omar performance, he goes straight to his talking points about political violence, says, I'm glad that Congresswoman Omar is safe. Our state, I feel like every time I read this, I should do jazz hands while I'm speaking. Our state has been shattered by political violence in the last year. The cruel, inflammatory, dehumanizing rhetoric by our nation's leaders needs to stop immediately. We've already heard the cruel, inflammatory, dehumanizing rhetoric that he has been spewing about ICE and ICE agents. I guess those don't count. Right? Those don't count. It's cool when we do it, not when you do it. But I gotta say, I tell you guys, they don't have a floor. They just go lower and lower and lower. Let me give you a new one yesterday. Tim Walz talking about what he would do to Vice President JD Vance.
I'm for bipartisanship. Here's the problem. I'm for bipartisanship. I would beat the
shit out of him now if I could, and I would call that out.
What? We don't stand for political violence. I would beat the shit out of Vice President JD Vance, okay? It's almost like these people don't believe in any of the ideals that they claim that they do and want you to live by. By the way, I don't think Secret Service is too worried about you and your jazz hands over there, Jazz Hands McGee. Hey, yeah, hello. I don't think they're going to be concerned. I don't think you're going to beat the shit out of anybody. But still, it's crazy. They're getting away with spewing this rhetoric at the same time that they're calling us out for what? Literally for what? Trying to make the community safer? Let's take Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey as an example. He also said, I made it clear that Minneapolis does not and will not enforce federal immigration laws and that we will remain focused on keeping our neighbors and streets safe. And city leaders will continue to stay in conversation with Mr. Holman and his team. Now, that's insane, by the way. That's insane to say that out loud. President Trump pointed this out in his response. That is insane to say Minneapolis does not and will not enforce federal immigration laws. He said this is after having a very good conversation with him. So President Trump was surprised. Could somebody in his inner sanctum please explain that this statement is a very serious violation of the law and that he is playing with fire? He should defund that entire state, but certainly that city immediately. There's no reason to continue. They are blatantly saying publicly that they are not going to follow federal laws. They should not get federal dollars. Now, there's no shortage of examples that I could give you about why you can't negotiate with these people, why you can't negotiate with terrorists. And that is what they are. They are domestic terrorists who are holding our country hostage. They are preventing our law enforcement, our brave law enforcement, from going out in the streets and finding these criminals and getting them out of our communities to make us safer. Let's go over to Philadelphia. There's no shortage of leftist lunatics in this country. Let's go over to Philadelphia. The district attorney, Larry Krasner, talking about ICE agents.
This is a small bunch of wannabe Nazis. That's what they are.
Okay.
In a country of 350 million, we outnumber them. If we have to hunt you down the way they hunted down Nazis for decades,
just throwing that out there.
Find your identities. We will find you. We will achieve justice.
Oh, okay. Let's go over to Ohio. The Ohio Attorney General candidate, Elliot Forhan. Let's see what he has to say.
Hi, this is Elliot Forhan, candidate for Ohio Attorney General. I want to tell you what I mean when I say that I am going to kill Donald Trump. I mean, I'm going to obtain a conviction rendered by a jury of his peers at a standard of proof beyond a reasonable doubt, based on evidence presented at a trial conducted in accordance with the requirements of due process, resulting in a sentence duly executed of capital punishment. That is what I mean when I say that I'm going to kill Donald Trump.
Guys, these aren't just like randos on the internet. These are people who are running for public office, making these public statements to represent them in their campaigns. That is what is selling for the Democrat Party. That's what's selling. Now, I also want to play one more here, which is that I guess the left has gotten together to agree that it is time to bring back bullying or something. Watch.
Now that the right has shown us who they really are as human beings, I am so happy because I feel like collectively on the left, we have all decided that we are bringing back bullying. And this is so great for me because I'm really good at this. This is something that I thrive in. I come alive, and I've had to suppress this for a very long time. Because, you know, we learn as kids, like, you don't bully. Bullying is bad, and it is bad. But these are unprecedented times.
Wow, I'm so shocked. I'm so shocked that a gay man would be so petty. I'm so shocked. Wow, a gay and retarded ginger is out there. Oh, I'm going to bully. We are bringing back bullying. This is giving you the state of the Democrat Party. This is actually how they feel. And you should know that. If you like this clip and you want to see the full episode, click here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, come on, you know you do. Click here.